Welcome to the Spiridian Advantage video podcast. I'm your host, Greg Turner, Managing Director for Spiridian's Innovation and Strategy Center of Excellence. We are going to talk about customer interaction advisory services today. And with me is Craig D'Angelo, Advisory Services Practice Leader for Helix Solutions, a Spiridian company. And Craig is also a customer interaction subject matter expert. Welcome to the program, Craig.
Greg, thanks for having me. It's really awesome to be here.
Well, Craig, I don't like to waste any time, so let's dive right in. What is customer interaction, and what are the advisory services around customer interaction?
Thanks, Greg. So the customer interaction really is the engagement between an organization and their customers. We'll call it CX, we'll call it customer journeys. Different organizations have different definitions and phrasing around it. The consulting services and the advisory services are really a consulting framework with a number of different activities that we tailor to each organization that helps them, one, understand their context in terms of what their goals are, what their metrics that they find that they measure with success, understanding the tools that they've invested in their service architecture, CRM, other technologies that are kind of the cornerstones to that, and then help them look at that maturity arc that they're on, where they are today, where they need to be for success, and then building a roadmap for that returns the most value as quickly as possible.
Oh, very interesting. And so, when I think of customer interaction, I think of, people calling to complain about a service or a product. I think of calling for warranty coverage. Going to their corporate Facebook page and, maybe putting like, I'm never going to do business with this company again, right? So
Yep.
I always think of customer interaction sometimes as a negative other than just the buying transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and one of the other things I think about is that almost every organization today has invested in some form of CRM.
Right.
Why would they need advisory services? Would it be to change negative interactions to positive interactions? And would it be to increase the number of interactions, because eventually that also helps cause a return on your investment?
I think the biggest need for the advisory services is really knowing that you're really optimizing a couple of things. One, to your point, those user journeys. I mean, we do tend to get focused on the negative a lot of times in support, but it's really understanding how you want to deliver customer experience to your client base. That could be being more proactive, notifying of things coming up. It's that mixture of sales, engagement with a customer, doing segmentation, understanding the needs of the customer even before they possibly do, and giving them the information they want to be successful, and especially having a good end experience with the brand. The other part is optimizing the investment that you have. I mean, as CRMs especially have kind of become more, I guess, enhanced or kind of spreading through what they can deliver in terms of that whole customer journey. Originally it was just kind of contact management, but over time they've expanded into managing the different media channels, having different interfaces into other technologies, ERPs, IoT, different tools, mobile, and expanding that footprint in terms of what that tool can use for service delivery and what it can offer. So the advisory services are really there to help understand, what those journeys are that a customer is trying to get to, but also knowing, with all the choices that you have to invest in going forward, making sure that the ones that you're going to put on your roadmap, the technologies you're going to adopt, the projects you're going to take on, are actually going to drive toward the success criteria that your specific company has. What we see a lot are, hey, what is good customer experience? And you're told, here's the template. You must do these 7 things.
Mm-hmm.
But really, that context, that framework for success is unique to each organization. Some are trying to drive cost, some are trying to ratchet up the experience itself. Others are trying to make it so that their employees and their agents and the representatives are more successful and more efficient. So really, the advisory services is looking at all of that and making sure the investment you have in your service architecture and in your processes are really going toward what is going to make that organization successful.
Oh, that's excellent. And you mentioned earlier about a maturity map,
Mhm.
and does that assess what types of future investments a company should be making to keep a competitive edge with their customer interaction?
No, it absolutely does. And what we do in terms of a maturity model is kind of, it's that two-step approach. You're baselining kind of where you are today. And we look at a number of pillars within the customer experience, framework. Everything from interaction management to, sales interactions, through feedback from the client, through automation and like bot usage and AI usage. And what it's really looking at is, how, from an emerging perspective to a market leading perspective compared to your peers, where do you fit today? And
Mm-hmm.
then we take that lens that we talked about a little earlier, that context of, hey, what's important to my organization, and then look at, okay, we're going to expand that ring out and understand where I want to go across all those pillars, making those decisions to optimize the ones that are going to drive to that definition of success that lens gave us. So that maturity framework gives them the foundation to say, yeah, the things we have in our roadmap, they make sense. They're going to take us to where we want to go, and they have a kind of a justification from all the way from the business through the technology side.
Well, that's excellent. And so I think, from what I've learned, if I could summarize the whole customer interaction is really a core uh, requirement to do business today, right? For every company.
Absolutely.
And so for us to be able to go in and help them and assess where they are today in terms of their maturity map, identify how they can improve their customer interaction, create a better success story, and invest in the right things that will achieve the right types of returns for those investments with respect to customer interaction, which is really a key metric and a key measure in today's business world. The customer really is the center of the universe when doing business. So the last question I would have, Craig, just to kind of wrap this up, and this has been excellent, and thank you for explaining it. It really helped me understand. But the last question is, and what I like to do with all of our podcasts is insist that our speaker today provide our audience with 3 takeaways, 3 things, 3 nuggets of information that will really help them today and help them make some good decisions going forward with respect to customer interaction or advisory services.
Yeah, I think the first is understanding the context of your organization when it comes to customer experience. There is not a template of what is good.
Mm-hmm.
And even within a methodology, even like ours, it still needs to be tailored to what that company does. And so I think the first thing to really take away is get an understanding of your context, and understand what success for customer experience is for your organization. Secondly is working with a partner that's going to come in and help you get to that point versus telling you where to go. Really it's about surfacing information from within your own organization, and making sure you're optimizing again those investments in the future. And that's definitely something where you're looking for a partner that focuses in on that.
Right.
Sometimes we get clients that get wrapped around having packages delivered from vendors, and they kind of have to fit their experience to the package, but really having that partner to help them understand and raise up where to go. And then the last one is really making sure that what you're taking forward is value driven. You know, having numbers that say this is taking us in the right direction, we're investing in the right technology, and we're not going to fall behind. We're not going to miss out on what our clients are asking us for. And we have the tools in place that actually support the journeys we want to deliver to our clients. And so I think
I
those
think
really from advisory are the three main things.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that, you know, your outcome based is always taking the customer into, you know, perspective and need and understanding. And so you're really driving future business outcomes that are going to be centered around the customer needs and the customer interaction, which, you know, I can't but think is a perfect recipe for, you know, greatness. This session was outstanding, Craig, and thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
And thank you to the audience. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Spiridian Advantage video podcast. For more information about our solutions that we've discussed here today, or things that you would like to present in upcoming podcasts, please contact me at info@spiridian.com. Thank you.